Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6 a.m.
Now on News 6 Mornings, two key decisions from the state Supreme Court, the amendments they are expected to rule on today and how it could impact the upcoming election.
Plus, Orlando City Commissioners are set to meet for the first time since the arrest of one of their own, who now has to decide if Regina Hill stays or goes amid some serious allegations.
And a major data breach impacting millions of current and former AT&T customers. What the company is urging everyone to do now in order to protect their personal information. Well, good morning on your Monday. It is 6 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Bridget Ellison. Trooper Steve's watching your roads, and meteorologist Jonathan Kegas here this morning in for Candace with our pinpoint accurate forecast. We have some more heat on the way.
Yeah, lots of it. Temperatures today back to the upper 80s. Tomorrow we're pushing 90 degrees, potentially breaking records, at least in record territory. Right now, nice comfy start, hanging out around 60 degrees across most of Central Florida. We're at 66 at Cape Canaveral. Good morning in Daytona Beach. We are at 61. 64 for us in Leesburg. A touch cooler in the Villages. We're checking in at 62 right now. 61 in Kissimmee. We're back to around 60 degrees in Holopah as well. There you go. A few scattered clouds in the mix. These are light. These are those thin, wispy clouds out there. For the most part, we're going to be in and out of those today. We will see temperatures respond to some sunshine filtering through those clouds, and that is going to help push temperatures again back into the mid to upper 60s later, the mid to upper 80s, I should say, a little bit later on this afternoon. That is kind of a Freudian slip to the cooler air coming by the end of this work week. We're at 71, though, by 10, 78 by lunchtime, 84 by 2, topping out at 87 degrees as temperatures tomorrow push 90, and then that cooler air returns. We're going to break it all down coming up in about 15 minutes. First, though, I want to get you checking those roads and send things over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, the weather is good. So Sky 6 is taking off from the Orlando Executive. I love this shot. I don't know why. I just think it's the coolest thing. At night, seeing the runway off into the distance. They are located, you know, Orlando Executive, north of 408, south of 50, east of downtown. Nice little stretch there. You see Crystal Lake off into the distance. 408 running smooth. Not sure where they're headed to yet this morning. I'm hoping right here, Orange Blossom Trail at Lake Pleasant. This is out in the city of Apopka. Apopka Police Department working this crash out here has issued a pretty heavy travel advisory out there. So please be careful. And then this one's not going away. Silver Star at Pine Hill. So please be careful as well. Maybe they could swing by two with one stone out there. The attractions area, we're looking good. Eastbound, surprisingly, but within the next half hour or so, we could start to see the delay. I'm not sure how today is going to play out with yesterday being a holiday. I guess we'll see shortly. Guys, back to you.
And happening today, two key rulings by the state's top court.
Florida Supreme Court justices are expected to issue rulings today deciding if two controversial amendments should end up on the November ballot. News 6's Mark Lehman is taking a closer look at all this and joins us in the studio. Mark, the topics, marijuana and abortion.
They're two very hot political topics in an election year. Both of the issues got enough signatures to appear on the November ballot, but the state is challenging each of them, saying the proposed amendments aren't worded clearly. If each of these issues survives the challenge and appears on the November ballot, they need 60% of voters saying yes to be approved. Florida Supreme Court justices are expected to issue their ruling at 4 this afternoon. Crystal?
We'll see what happens, Marks. Thanks. In just a matter of hours, Orlando City Commissioners are set to meet for the first time since the arrest of one of their own. Commissioner Regina Hill was arrested last week, accused of stealing from a 96-year-old woman. State investigators say she used the elderly woman's identity to fraudulently buy a house and used her money to buy things like clothing, cosmetic surgery, and trips. Right now, Hill still is a city commissioner, and the only person who can remove her is the governor.
The appropriate action has traditionally been to suspend that official at that point. I would assume that's what's going to happen. We'll have to see if this happens, what the indictment looks like, but that's typically what we've done in these cases.
Commissioner Hill released a statement on Friday saying she loved and cared for that 96-year-old like a member of her own family. While she mentioned the woman's name, we've decided not to name her since she is an alleged victim. At this point, it appears Commissioner Hill will be at today's meeting, and that's set to begin at 2 this afternoon.
Developing right now, a huge data breach involving millions of AT&T customers. The company admitting the personal information from up to 73 million people ended up on the dark web, including social security numbers and mailing addresses. News 6's Ezzy Castro is following the latest on this and joins us live with more on the breach. And it's not just current customers, Ezzy, but those who may have had AT&T in the past.
Bridget, it's definitely not what you want to hear. here if you have AT&T like myself, or if you had AT&T. Now, this all comes after a nationwide outage left thousands without service back in February. Now, the company said it already reset several passwords for 7.6 million customers, but there's still a lot more people that should keep an eye out for any weird activity, credit activity over the next several days. For now, live in College Park, Ezzy Castro, getting results, News 6.
No joke here on April 1st, but tonight's Powerball drawing is up to nearly $1 billion now after it rolled over again. So tonight, $975 million up for grabs. In case you're wondering, a one-time cash payment worth $471 million. But the jackpot is the 5th largest in game history. Remember, you can see it live when those numbers are drawn right here on WKMG right before the news at 11 p.m.
Jonathan, every time we talk about the rise of the jackpot, I'm like, I'm going to go out and get a ticket, and then I don't, but then it rolls over.
Right.
So maybe when I do get a ticket,
you'll win it.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens.
So maybe today.
Maybe today. You know what? Save the money. I get sucked in almost every time.
Go get an ice cream.
I'm not doing it. Right, exactly. 62 for us in the Villages, 64 in Leesburg, 61 in Kissimmee right now. Good morning in Cocoa Beach. We are at 64. Melbourne, we're checking in at 61. Rockledge, good morning. We're back to around 60 degrees right now. Big chunk of high pressure hanging out over the Atlantic right now. Clockwise airflow around that high pressure pushing in the warmth from the Caribbean and the extreme southwest Atlantic. That's what we will feel again today and tomorrow before some changes. Those changes already on the satellite picture right here. You see all these clouds in the yellow and blue. That is our next big storm system. The center of low pressure itself hanging tight toward Kansas and Oklahoma. Big time severe weather event expected out that way today. You see that level 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale from about Dallas to St. Louis. Unfortunately, big time severe weather threat again for those folks. By the time this system gets here for us as we move into Wednesday, it's going to be much, much weaker. Still the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be there as we get into Wednesday. There's 11 o'clock. There is our front. Behind that front, that's when a nice big chunk of colder air arrives. Again, we're going to talk much more about that coming up at about 6:17. First, though, I'll get you a check on those roads with traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve.
Thank you, Jonathan. Sky 6 is slowly showing up on this crash out in the Apopka area. Before I could even tell them, hey, where are you going to be headed to this morning? They're like, hey, we're headed here to 441 in Lake Pleasant. So they're getting ready to turn this camera around here shortly. Don't have enough time to wait. So this is what we're looking at. Orange Blossom Trail at Lake Pleasant. Apopka Police Department is working this, and it's severe enough to where Florida Highway Patrol is issuing a traffic advisory for it because the lanes are closed. My map's not registering that it's closed, but look, we'll find out here shortly. I'm trying to make sure to see if I can watch the helicopter shot behind the camera here, but they're not there yet. So just watch out as the rest of us begin to clean up a little bit. No major delay eastbound even yet over the 535 area. I'm okay if it doesn't start this morning. I-4, 417 and the Florida Turnpike looking good. Guys, back to you.
All right, Trooper Steve, 610, a close call caught on camera.
Yeah, a man narrowly hit with a wayward saw blade. Coming up, what he did just seconds before that likely saved his life.
But first, flames inside this church right in the middle of Easter services. At least 5 people hurt, including firefighters. Up next, what we're learning about a possible cause. You're watching News 6 Mornings, getting results for Altamont Springs, Port Orange, and all of Central Florida.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Orlando Health.
It hasn't been done in a while.
You're talking about taking our newscast on the road.
Live. I'm in.
Pack it up. It's all going on the road.
Do we just put the desk on a truck or something?
So what's the plan?
To help our communities, we need to be where they are, listening to them.
Whatever it takes.
But a helicopter?
Yeah.
The squatter epidemic, even in Beverly Hills. Who's living in this mansion? Watch the next Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7:30 on News 6. Live with Bridget Ellison, Crystal Moyer. Weather with meteorologist Candace Campos and Central Florida's only traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
Developing now, an investigation is underway in Brooklyn after flames ripped through a church as hundreds gathered for Easter Sunday Mass. And this is a look at just what fire crews were up against when they arrived. Now, officials say 5 people, including 3 firefighters, were hurt in this after part of the second floor of the church collapsed while they were trying to put out the flames. Firefighters say the flames broke out in the area where the church has some classrooms and offices and not the main sanctuary. The cause is still under investigation, but officials say it may have been electrical due to the building being more than 100 years old.
In a matter of hours, former South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh will be sentenced for nearly 24 financial crimes after pleading guilty. Murdaugh is already serving 2 life sentences for the murders of his wife and son, and now a federal judge is expected to sentence him for 22 charges, including wire and bank fraud. It comes after the 55-year-old admitted he stole money from his clients and law firm and used it for his personal use.
Well, a close call caught on camera in Oregon.
A man escaped serious injury with seconds to spare. Wait until you see this, and we'll show it to you in slow motion again. But he walked into this convenience store in Eugene, and then watch out from the parking lot. Yeah, that metal blade flew in from a concrete saw just seconds later, inches away from the door.
Oh my God, I've tears all night. Like, yeah, it was terrifying. I was shaking in the store. It kicked me a little bit before I could talk.
Wow. Besides being shaken up, he wasn't hurt, but officials say it came from a nearby construction site. So watch out there.
Oh, she's going to be paying them a visit for sure.
All those cars that had a clear path all the way to the door.
It's like these other ones that you've seen, tires going down the road, the freeway, and all of a sudden finds your car. That is, I'd cut that out and I'd frame that on the wall. It's a second life lived right there.
Make a clock out of it. Yeah,
clock.
Temperatures this morning.
You're crafty this morning.
You've seen it, right? Yeah.
Why not?
Like working with wood, you put it in the shop. Temperatures, or concrete in that case. Temperatures get back into the low to mid 60s.
Right now, man cave, though, not in my kitchen.
not in my kitchen, for sure.
Careful being handy there, sir.
Absolutely. 62 degrees right now. We'll see temperatures get back into the mid to upper 80s later on. The breeze out of the south-southeast. It's finally backed off from where we had things last week. That is a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. Again, the breeze nice and light, but that southerly component to the wind going to pump in the warmth a little bit later on this afternoon. We're hanging around 60 for us in Ocala. We're at 62 in Lakeland, 61 for us in Kissimmee. Into St. Cloud, nice and comfy in the low 60s. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
Temperatures again very nice this afternoon. Warm, but that humidity staying away. 75 for us by 11 o'clock. We're at 81 by 1 with that sun cloud mixture. Again, temperatures get back to the mid to upper 80s a little bit later on this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sunshine. There you go. 90 tomorrow with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 70% shot for rain, though. That is our next system we just showed you. That's back into the middle 80s again out ahead of it. Mid-70s, though, by Thursday. And it's going to be Friday morning and Saturday morning. I think we're going to see parts of Central Florida waking up into the 40s. So there's still some crisp air yet to come. Gorgeous weekend, though, coming our way. If you want to do some of those projects, lots of sunshine back into the mid-70s for the weekend. Now we'll get you check on those roads. Send things over to traffic safety expert Trooper Steve.
Just make sure all the bolts are tightened on your power tools. So
yeah.
There ain't no circle saws flying around. All right, so Sky 6, I appreciate you guys very much, is now over Apopka. Got to watch some of the crews out here. Listen, 441 is back open, so you have no more issues out here. There was a pretty serious crash. They had shut north and southbound down, but it is dark. The cars and the little lights that you see, it's not ants, it's vehicles going east and westbound, north and southbound out here. We're now back open at Lake Pleasant. So nothing to worry about within the city of Apopka, at least anymore. And then I wanted to see where everyone was at this morning. Here we go, 6:21 in the morning, starting to see some of those eastbound delays. But you would think a lot of people are off today. I don't know what's up. There is school, so make sure you're attending class today. Reunion, you're looking pretty good. Hunters Creek, not too bad. This is what's making me go, hey, where's everyone at? OBT, John Young Parkway, even the Florida Turnpike in Kissimmee, all green. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. The time is now 6:22, and if you're running on E, headed to the pump. The pain there getting worse when it comes to gas.
At the bottom of the hour, how much more you could pay to fill up as gas prices hit a new high.
But for struggling with high blood pressure, you may just want to take a look into your past. Up next, how the condition may have started decades earlier.
This portion of the news is sponsored by the Flooring Center.
You responded to me right away. Within 24 hours, I had my money, and I was just blown away how you were there for me.
Get to know Matt Austin on News 6 weeknights at 5 p.m.
So still to come on News 6 mornings, a major data breach impacting millions of past and current AT&T customers.
At the bottom of the hour, the information posted to the dark web and what you can do now to protect your information.
And we're hours away now from two big decisions by the state Supreme Court, from recreational marijuana to abortion. Rulings justices are expected to release.
Get the most out of News 6 with our Insider newsletter. Sign up to be an insider today at clickorlando.com/insider. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Florida voters wait as the state Supreme Court is about to decide if you'll be able to vote on two controversial issues. The key rulings now set to come down in just hours.
Plus, gunfire at an Oviedo apartment complex leaves a woman hurt and leads to a standoff that lasted for hours. The questions we're waiting for police to answer this morning about the suspects.
Tens of millions of AT&T customers are being warned they may have been a victim of a massive data breach. Why your personal information could be at risk, even if you're not currently using their service. Good morning, Central Florida at 6:30. I'm Bridget Ellison.
And I'm Crystal Moyer. We want to start with a check of your pinpoint weather. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagis is in the house for Candace. And Jonathan, we're getting a bit of a summer preview today.
We are, yeah, at least without the side of the humidity anyway. Temperature's going to get back into the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Right now, nice comfy start. Sanford, we're back to the mid 60s, 61 in Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach. We are back to the lower 60s as well. Few clouds out there. We're going to be in and out of clouds. More sunshine, though, than cloud cover today. Good beach day. Again, watch out for those rip currents. Otherwise, again, really quiet, pleasant afternoon in the weather department. We're back to the mid to upper 80s today. By lunchtime, we're at 78, 84 degrees by 2 under partly cloudy skies. We're going to keep things partly cloudy by 4 o'clock as temperatures again top out. Back to the upper 80s. Tomorrow, we're pushing records. That gets us near 90 before a big-time drop in the temperatures. We're breaking it all down coming up in about 15 minutes. First, though, we'll get you a check on those roads with traffic safety expert Trooper Steve.
Thank you, Jonathan. Sky 6 out there cruising I-4 right now. We're in pretty decent shape after an earlier crash has been cleaned up. Your drive times right now, 18 minutes from Osceola Parkway to Colonial, and a nice 14-minute drive coming in from Lake Mary. Take it nice and smooth. Like I said, OBT and Lake Pleasant, we are all back open. Anything out there now is just those normal delays. Eastbound I-4, we're starting to see those attraction delays as you're coming in from Polk County, 27 eastbound towards Reunion, and then it clears up right after 429. Guys, back to you.
Right now, we're waiting for Oviedo police to tell us the name of a man they say shot a woman before holding officers in a standoff for hours. The scene unfolded yesterday at Oviedo Town Center Apartments off of Oviedo Boulevard. Police say when they got there just before 4, they found a victim who'd been shot twice, and they say the victim refused to come out. The SWAT team ended up responding and was able to get the man into custody 2.5 hours later. The woman who was shot is expected to be okay. Jury selection could begin as early as today in Orange County at the trial of a man accused of attacking Orlando police and streaming it on Facebook. Police say William McClish set up a camera in downtown back in 2021 and then went after officers with a brick. One officer ended up with a significant facial injury and another was bitten. McClish now faces several charges, including attempted first-degree murder, and court records show he plans to represent himself at trial. After weeks of play, the Final Four in the men's NCAA basketball tournament is now set. Last matchup was set yesterday in 2 big games right here on WKMG, including #1 seed Purdue taking down #2 Tennessee. Then it was 4 seed Duke falling to 11th ranked North Carolina State. The Wolfpack making their first appearance in the Final Four since they won the championship in 1983. Alabama and UConn are the other 2 teams that'll battle for a shot at the national championship. Both games are set for Saturday in Arizona. So from March Madness to April Gladness, I guess.
there you go. At least for a couple of teams over the next couple of days. Yeah, great tournament so far. It's been crazy. Weather expected to be a little crazy out west today. Potential for some big-time severe weather at places like Texas and Oklahoma, Missouri, and Illinois. This next system is coming in our direction. It will weaken significantly by the time it gets here on Wednesday. But behind that system, it is going to bring a nice chunk of cooler air. So the near-record warmth that we're going to feel tomorrow tomorrow. That is not going to last long at all. Outlook over the next 6 to 10 days. Again, this is going to take us from about April 7th through the April 11th, and the darker blue on your screen represents the higher probabilities for some cooler than normal temperatures coming through. That could get us back into the 40s overnight anyway by the time we wake up on Friday morning and then again on Saturday morning. On average anyway, the last time we do that, wake up in the 40s, is April 8th. Last year that happened on March 21st. So again, it's right in line with where we should be. But again, it's going to be a big shock to the system after we're hanging around 90 degrees tomorrow. We'll talk much more about the near record warmth coming away at about 6:47. First, though, I'm going to get you checking those roads. The traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve.
Thank you, sir. Sky 6 up right now, just cruising around. Ask them to head out towards John Young Parkway, though, because of a crash that just came out. Your drive time's good, east and westbound. This is what we're watching. John Young Parkway at Oak Ridge. Please be careful. A lot of pedestrian traffic out here on a normal basis. Then you throw a crash, and I don't think there was any construction because yesterday with Easter, so they probably suspended that. But be careful as you're cruising out there. A little further north there, Rio Grande and 39th Street as well. And I've got another one on the east side over a little further towards the Woodbury area at Waterford Lakes Parkway. Speaking of the east side, I was out with UCF Police Department Deputy Chief Robin Griffin Kitzero. She is the highest ranking woman in the history of the UCF Police Department, and talk about a wealth of knowledge and just an amazing, amazing person. I could have hung out with her all day. Head to clickorlando.com and check that out. Today, it is April Fool's Day, and anybody in this building knows I absolutely love a good prank. So there's a guy that does some good pranks here locally, and I'm going to have him, well, we don't know if it's a man or a woman because he wears a costume. He calls himself the Orlando Bushman, and he's going to be jumping in the truck with me at 10 a.m. at clickorlando.com. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Let's have some fun today, okay? Join me. Ladies, back to you.
Looking forward to it. And we might need some good laughs because the price for gas is going up.
Still ahead on this Monday. What experts say is behind a recent spike and how much you can expect to pay the next time you fill up.
But first, after recent health concerns, the Pope presides over Easter Mass. His message for the world when it comes to the current war in the Middle East.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans. No matter what's happening where you live, trust Sky 6 to get you the bigger picture. Exclusively sponsored by attorney Dan Newland. Live with Bridget Ellison, Crystal Moyer. Weather with meteorologist Candace Campos. And Central Florida's only traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings. Getting results.
Despite ongoing concerns about his health, Pope Francis presided over Easter Sunday Mass and delivered a message from the Vatican yesterday.
The latest numbers are in when it comes to gas prices. The news is not great for drivers right now. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded in Florida has jumped to $3.59, up nearly 10 cents from last week and 23 cents from this time a month ago. The Auto Club says higher demand for spring break and extended production cuts from OPEC are helping drive up cost, and summer gasoline blends are also moving in, and those are more expensive to produce.
Listen up, drivers. I-4, if you're planning to travel there, there's going to be some issues and a big change starting in just hours. Crews are going to be shifting westbound traffic between Darrell Carter Parkway and State Road 536. That's the World Center Drive exit. The change is being made as part of the project to expand the express lanes through the area. The shift is going to be in place until at least the spring of next year.
Well, Easter egg hunts, they're common this time of year. The egg runs are different. You're not looking, but you're running for the eggs. So how about running for 60,000 of them?
Yes.
Look at this. This is drone video from Port St. Lucie over the weekend, and these kids were ready to go running after those eggs with treats inside. The annual event spread out over 5 sports fields there. So if it looks big, it is. The good thing, though, they were divided into different age groups. That always helps keep the chaos to, a manageable level.
Let's everyone get some
Don't
eggs,
put me with the toddlers. I might trip one. Oh, no.
There's no
Nothing
fair.
stops candy. Holy cow.
And you got to have a special basket because when you're running with it, if you're throwing eggs in it, they can fall out. I got this.
See how serious she meanwhile, I'm like sitting there just like,
she's strategizing.
Come on.
I love it.
She's not playing.
Temperatures this morning, guys, back to the mid-60s. It was a little warm yesterday for some of those Easter egg hunts, although it was a very nice afternoon, gorgeous day. Look at this sunrise if you are not checking out your TV set right now. The beautiful colors in our sky as we take a live look in Daytona Beach with our Daytona Toyota Deland Kia Skycam. We're back to the low 60s. The breeze very light out of the south at about 5 miles an hour. And we are going to be in and out of some of those higher, thin, wispy clouds that stream in from a storm system well back to our northwest. 60 right now in Ocala. Fort McCoy, we're back to around 60 as well. Denellen into the Villages, we're hanging around 60. Leesburg into Mineola, into Claremont, we're back to the mid-60s after a nice, quiet evening and a nice, quiet start to your morning. For that, here's a look at your Pinpoint Accurate Forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
We'll see the mix of clouds and sunshine today. And again, the cloud cover brought to you by those higher, thin, wispy clouds. It's a big system out west. It'll be here by Wednesday. But again, for now, we are nice and quiet. Back to the mid-70s by 11, 81 degrees by 1 o'clock. And again, you may notice a touch more humidity, but still very, very nice out there. Nice and comfortable this afternoon. It's tomorrow. That's when we start to get back into the near record warmth ballpark anyway. I don't think we break any records, but we're likely going to miss it by a degree or two, or a few degrees. By the time we get towards Thursday, really into Friday, that's when we are going to see that system slide on through, and we will see the opportunity for some big-time cold, at least relative to where we should be for this time of the year. Now, you might want the jacket, though, as you close out the work week and start the weekend, because air temperatures will be in the low to mid-70s. But I think Friday morning and Saturday morning, we're going to be into the 40s and 50s. So, again, certainly a shock to the system after we hang out around 90 degrees on Tuesday. There are those rain chances increasing for your day on Wednesday. Now we'll get you a check on those roads. Send things back over to traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve.
Thank you, Jonathan. Sky 6 cruising right now over Maitland, I-4 area. Nice and smooth. No problems out here. East or westbound on either I-4 or Maitland Boulevard. Looking pretty decent this morning. Drive time still in the green, which we're sitting pretty good on a Monday, but a lot of spotty crashes. I need you to pay attention, please. First, John Young Parkway in Oak Ridge. Then another one here at Rio Grande and 39th, both with lanes reported blocked. Same out here as well. Woodbury and Waterford Lakes. This is that back side of the Waterford Lakes Town Center. A lot of residents use this side. And then further east towards the Wedgefield area, I have one here at 520 and Maxim Parkway. So a lot of little things happening, all preventable. Obviously, further east, that transition area between Brevard County and Orange County along 528, at least we're doing pretty good here. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Decision day when it comes to 2 controversial ballot amendments.
The ruling's expected in just hours. Next, as we check our big stories.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Papa John's. You deserve to hear the best. That's why News 6 has partnered up with Mix 105.1. Listen to your Pinpoint weather updates on Mix 105.1 while we pinpoint your weather on the go. Some teams are just better together.
It is 6:54. Let's check our big story, starting with Mark Lehman and some big decisions set to come down today from the Florida Supreme Court.
Yeah, we'll find out if 2 controversial amendment proposals will be allowed on the November ballot. One would legalize recreational marijuana use in the state. The other would guarantee abortion rights in Florida up until viability. Both measures got enough signatures to make it on the ballot, but were then challenged by Attorney General Ashley Moody. Her office argues the wording on both is vague and misleading. The court is set to issue its ruling this afternoon. Bridget?
Mark, a man's in custody accused of shooting a woman in Oviedo. Police say the suspect held police in a standoff for hours at Oviedo Town Center Apartments before he was finally arrested.
The Orlando City Council will meet today for the first time since the arrest of Commissioner Regina Hill. We're still waiting for word on if Governor DeSantis will suspend her from office. Ezzy?
AT&T says it is now investigating how information from 73 million customers logged onto the dark web. Now, the announcement about the breach happened over the weekend, saying it could include names, passwords, birth dates, and even social security numbers. AT&T says most of those impacted are actually former customers, but millions of current customers could be impacted as well and are being told to change and reset their passwords. Bridget?
Ezzy, be sure to join us for Breakfast with Bridget coming up on News 6 Plus at 7:30. You can also watch it on clickorlando.com. Today we'll have your weather and traffic to get you out the door, and we'll talk to a doctor live about traumatic brain injury. So join us. Jonathan?
And we're going to talk about that warmth today. We're back to the upper 80s. Tomorrow we could be in record territory. We will be in record territory. Then those rain chances go up before a big cool down. So we'll see you in a little bit. We'll talk about it.
Nice. So your roadway is not too bad. Sky 6 cruising out there because, hey, the weather is great. In downtown, you look beautiful right now.
Wow.
My gosh. Yeah, this looks great. So your drive time's looking pretty good. In the green, looking good there on I-4 and out here on your other roads. And, hey, Reggie's been adopted, guys. I didn't click there, so
look at that face.
Super excited there. You can visit clickorlando.com and make sure adopt, don't shop.
That's right. You look so happy. Thanks for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories and podcasts on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
CBS Mornings is next. Make it a great day.
Get the latest news, weather, and more from the new 6 Plus streaming app. Download the new 6 Plus app from the Android TV App Store today.